Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the Mining Podcast. And today's guest is Chad Peters, who's the President, CEO, and Director of Ridgeline Minerals, who are an exploration company focused on exploring for high-grade Carlin-Type gold deposits in Nevada. Chad has a background in geology and he's the co-founder of Ridgeline Minerals in 2018, obviously with a focus on exploring Tier 1 Carlin-Type gold deposits in Nevada. And he's here today to give us an update on the project and tell us a little bit about the company and what they've been up to. So let's welcome Chad to the podcast. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I appreciate your time as well. So wondered if you can give our audience a little bit of background about yourself, about your career, before we go obviously into questions around Ridgeline.
Yeah, you bet. So a little bit of, you kind of covered the high notes. I am a geologist, so probably make a few forward-looking statements about Ridgeline, I guess. But no, I started my career in Canada. I'm Canadian originally. Started my career in Red Lake, Ontario, working for, I don't know if you're familiar with Downey and what used to be the Premier Gold Mines team. It's now I-80 Corp. Yeah. So started with Premier right when it spun out of Wolf Den. We were just like a three-person company. Downey was cutting core, kind of thing, and we were logging, and it grew pretty significantly from there. So got to be a part of about 4 significant discoveries totaling over 10 million ounces of gold in Canada over about an 8-year period. So just really got kind of, I think, really as a young geologist, lucked into working for an incredible team and a very dynamic company. Got to see a lot of discoveries and moved down to Nevada in 2012 to take over as U.S. Expiration Manager for a new project that Premier had acquired, which was the McQuay Cove project. So we worked on that for about 2 years. Got it up to about a 400,000 ounce resource of about 10 grams per ton. So, not bad, but didn't get anyone terribly excited. And then our team actually tried kind of a bit of an out there different target concept, and we hit 38 meters of 7 grams on our first hole. And that then kind of turned the project into a 1.7 million ounce resources of 12 grams. So I really quickly saw just how quickly you could build value in Nevada and how underexplored it truly was. And that was the genesis for starting Ridgeline in 2018.
Okay. So I just wondered if you can just tell us about, obviously, Ridgeline, your co-founder. So I just wondered if you can go into depth about the company.
Yeah, you bet. I was kind of, I think I was pretty naive, thinking it was my first shot at doing the CEO role, right? And I was a bit naive on what it would actually take to get it up and off the ground. I left Premier, quit cold turkey in March of 2018. Actually, sorry, even earlier than that, but early 2018. I just didn't feel that, I'd worked for Ewan for a decade, and I didn't feel it was doing the company any justice to be kind of working on a side gig while I was also doing a full-time role with Premier. So I quit completely, suggested to my wife that we'd be financed in 3 to 5 months, and it took 15 months to get our seed round up and going. So she was incredibly patient. She didn't have a garage for over a year and a half because I was working off a folding table in the garage. And pretty much hitting up every finance guy and mining company in Canada and the US that would try to take a shot on a little kind of startup concept like Ridgeline. And it actually took meeting the folks from EMX, so Dave Cole, Dave Johnson, and Eric Jensen. And I pitched what I wanted to do in Nevada, focus on conceptual, going after big targets, right? I think part of the problem with the mining space right now is there's just a whole lot of juniors going after a whole lot of nothing. Right. And so we kind of took the different approach. We said, look, we're not going to go just pick up an old project, put lipstick on a pig and try to push a 200,000 ounce resource to 300,000 ounces. We wanted to go in and say, look, each one of the targets we're acquiring could be a 5 or a 10 million ounce discovery. So testing new ideas in old districts. And that's what we kind of got us up and going. And I also co-founded the company with the owner of a drilling company. And I think that was kind of the extra kind of tipping point to bring the EMX folks in. Not only did they like that we were pushing new ideas, trying to go after some different concepts, but we also could drill at a significantly cheaper cost than any of our peers. So that was how we got up and going. We got our seed round at 12 cents in May of 2019 and IPO'd in August of 2020. And it's been an exciting run since, I guess you could say, especially with the market they've been.
Yeah, certainly. And obviously just offline, we were talking about, you just done some financing. So I just wondered if you can share with the audience that.
Yeah. So we just closed a 2.55 million. Sorry, I'm going to cough here. 2.5 million financing at 20 cents with a half warrant at 30. What that's going to do is it's cashed us up for a fall drill program at our Selena project, which we're really excited about. That's certainly our flagship project. And that'll allow us to do a really aggressive program, which starts any day now. And we'll have lots of results coming out in November through early 2023.
The tagline on your obviously website is exploration done differently. What does that actually mean from your perspective, and why you've got that up there? What are you doing differently that others are not doing?
Yeah, it's a good tagline, right? Sounds nice, but what does it
Yeah.
actually mean? So in the early days of the company, it was the drilling contract, right? That was something that really set us apart. We really wanted to de-risk early stage exploration, which is the most risky part of the exploration cycle. Can also be the highest reward, but only a small percentage of companies actually ever deliver on that, right? And so we recognized that. I'd been part of over between Canada and the US, like 12 million ounces of discovery, and I knew how hard it was to make those. So we brought in the drilling contract, tried to de-risk our exploration as much as we could. And then the other thing that we really focused on was just really systematic exploration, right? Like taking all the old bias at these, because Nevada's an old district now, becoming an older district. And there's a lot of bias on where gold is and where it's not, if you talk to some of the old timers in Nevada, right? And so we kind of wanted to strip that away, really focus on systematic exploration, rebuild those geologic models from scratch. And I think we've been very successful at that. Not only is Selena a significant CRD discovery, which is actually somewhat of an atypical deposit type in Nevada, and mostly everybody focuses on Carlin-Types, us included, when we founded the company. But on top of that, we actually brought in Nevada Gold Mines into the 30 million US joint venture at our Swift project. Now, that was a project that Nevada Gold Mines had owned up until 2016, right? So we were able to come in, completely reinterpreted the geology, tested a few holes, proved a new concept that the right host rocks were there, and essentially they'd missed that in previous exploration. We were able to do a bigger deal with them and have them come back in on the project. So I think it does show that kind of different approach that we take, and it is being effective for us. So hopefully it turns into a big discovery at one of them.
Yeah. Obviously you have multiple projects in Nevada, including the partnership with the Swift project,
Yep.
with one of the largest, obviously, gold mines in the world, Nevada Gold Mines. Tell us why you made this deal and what benefits are there for Ridgeline, and also what the goals at Swift.
Yeah, no, that is a good question. And we actually had to we really had to push that to our shareholders. It was a very core asset for us, right? As before we even went public. And I think it goes back to that different approach, right? Like the exploration done differently. I'm the largest shareholder in the company. I own right now, even post-financing, 5.8% of the company. And the whole focus is de-risking that exploration process and bringing in Nevada Gold Mines. We very quickly realized, we have these great assets, but to see them actually get moved forward, we needed to bring in some partners. And we're talking, anywhere from 800 to 1,000 meter drill holes at the Swift project. That's $1 million a hole. A $20-30 million market cap company like us at the time we did this deal, those are straight non-starters, right? I mean, you're talking about huge dilution for essentially incredibly high risk drilling. So the whole idea to bring them in was our company would rather have 25% fully carried, which is exactly how we structured the deal. It's 30 million US to earn 70% of the company for Nevada Gold Mines. And they can earn a total of 75% of the company by taking the project fully carried to first gold pour, which means we never have to dilute a share from the day we sign this agreement to the day it pours gold, if they have success. And I think that's what we really wanted to focus on, was finding that mix of partnered assets with huge upside, and also being able to move forward our 100% owned assets like our Selena project. So everyone always, I think, in the business tries to pigeonhole companies into very small boxes, right? Are you an explorer? Are you a prospect generator? And trying to, kind of paint everyone with the same brush. And I think what we're trying to do is we're just trying to be very nimble with how we approach, right? Like projects change and evolve as you explore them and drill them. Some of them are obvious, projects that you advanced yourself, and other projects like Swift, the best option for us was to bring in that partnership and see it move. So I wouldn't say that any one of our projects is 100% going to be explored by us, or we're 100% optioning them. But, depending on how the exploration goes, we'll see it, we'll assess and bring in partners where we think it benefits us and our shareholders.
Yeah. You seem to have a pretty significant discovery coming, obviously, together at the Selena project that you just obviously mentioned. But wasn't it what you originally expected when your team first started to work there? I just wonder if you can expand on obviously that discovering the project.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't what we expected. You hit it on the head in your intro. We were originally a Carlin-Type exploration company, right? We were going after tier 1 Carlin-Type deposits, and we thought Selena could be a significant gold discovery. And as we drilled it out and we did exploration in 2019 and into 2020, we just started hitting more and more silver, more lead and zinc. Started hitting signatures, geochemical signatures that are not consistent with Carlin-Type deposits. And so instead of dropping the project and saying, this isn't what we're looking for, the team really dug into it. And I got to give my team credit for really sticking with it, because there's a few times where I was like, guys, this is a hard story to tell, like maybe we should move it. And they said, no, this is significant. And what we realized is that Selena is a carbonate replacement deposit, which is associated with a copper gold porphyry that sits literally on the edge of our western boundary of our project. So over the last 3 years, that a model has evolved for us, and we realize we're actually chasing something more like a Taylor type deposit in Arizona, which sold to South 32 for $2 billion. That's the kind of target we're chasing, not a Carlin-Type. It could still be a world-class project. And we actually, I think we've shown, over the last year and a half, by doing that deal at Swift and really focusing on Selena, that we think this is a flagship project for Ridgeline. And that was part of doing that deal at Swift, was messaging that and making sure Swift moved forward. But we've been able to drill. I mean, we have intercepts of up to 5 meters of 420 grams silver, 0.6 grams gold, and about 9% lead zinc combined. Right. That is a significant, that's a polymetallic CRD type intercept. And what's really exciting about Selena now is we've been pushing this thing for 3 years. But Freeport-McMoRan just joint ventured that porphyry that sits right beside us. It's a little junior called Falcon Butte Minerals that owns it. They did a $33 million US joint venture that they announced about 10 days ago with Freeport. And I mean, I can sit all day, little junior, and say, hey, we think we have a world-class potential here. But the largest copper company in the world just joint ventured that porphyry, which is part of the mineralizing system that makes up Selena. So, I think that really validates the story, and we're super excited to get drilling it this year and kind of keep proving it.
Yeah, certainly. You also own the Carlin East and the Bell Creek, 2 projects that you consider strategic holdings. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I actually, when we started the company out of the garage, Carlin East was literally what we raised our seed round on. That was kind of that big picture, exciting target that got early stage investors excited. It's only a couple kilometers from the Gold Strike pit, which is a 50 million ounce open pit gold mine owned by Barrick, now Nevada Gold Mines. So we did some drilling on it. We proved that the right host rocks were there, but we didn't hit any gold over the last kind of 2-3 years. And it's the same kind of story as Swift, to be honest, right? We realized, okay, this is very valuable ground. We're surrounded by NGM on all sides. There's maiden resources on the edges of both Bell Creek and Carlin East that are owned by NGM that were put out this year. So we know that, over time, there's a very good chance that NGM will continue to explore and expand their deposits onto our projects. Now, the issue is those targets are both about 1,000 meters down, right? No problem for NGM to go spend $1 million a hole. That's, they're completely able to do that. But we're in that same position as Swift, where it's like, yeah, you know what? For efficient use of shareholder capital, probably drilling 1,000-meter drill holes on an currently unconfirmed discovery probably isn't in our best interest. So we're going to continue allocating capital to Selena and other early, shallower, more approachable projects in our portfolio. And we're going to look for a partner at Bell Creek and Carlin East. And again, if we can structure it similar to what we did at Swift, I would, again, much rather own 25% of something that's getting aggressively explored than own 100% of something that I can't afford to drill. So that's kind of the approach there. And we've had lots of interest in the past from mid-tiers and majors that are, poking their feet around and going, well, this would be right in Barrick's backyard. And they're definitely interested. So yeah, we're working on different options, and hopefully we'll see a deal come together in the next, call it 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I've got a couple more questions. There seems a lot of activity in Nevada at the moment, and I just wondered if you can just give us an overview of the state and what else is happening.
I think it's, Nevada's an interesting. I think there's a bit of a disconnect right now, right? You're seeing the U.S. government is actually kind of actively kind of getting in the way of some projects, right? Like they're actually making it difficult to mine in Minnesota and Michigan and some other states. But Nevada still consistently ranks as a top jurisdiction worldwide, right? And I think it's just because Frankly, there's a ton of public land here, not a huge population. You go and say, I want to build an open pit mine in the middle of nowhere. Most folks don't have an issue with it, right? So I think what's great about Nevada is you do, as an explorer, I think you do get a bit of what they call, people jokingly call it a Nevada premium, but, we can go drill 40 or 50 meters of a gram per ton oxide gold from surface in Nevada, and that is worth 4 to 5 times that same intercept on the top of a mountain in BC in the Golden Triangle, right? It doesn't require billion-dollar capexes and roads and ports to get mines up and growing like you do see in other jurisdictions. So I think that mix of, a pretty favorable permitting scenario in Nevada with a huge gold endowment and very cheap mining costs, I think it's just the perfect kind of, combination, you could say, for a junior like us. We don't have to go find 4 or 5 million ounces to make it an economic mine, right? You can find 500,000, 1 million and a half ounces of gold, and someone's going to be very interested to come and pick that up and go mine it. So
yeah. And as a conclusion, just wonder what the outlook is for the next sort of 6 to 9 months for Ridgeline.
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, but what I'm pretty pumped about right now is Nevada Gold Mines is drilling Swift. So there's over $4 million going in the ground this year alone, 4 million US, right? So that's more than double my entire US budget for 2022 that Ridgeline actually explored its own projects. So we're seeing a ton of money getting spent at Swift. We'll see results coming out all the way into call it early Q1 of next year, which I hope will be a good springboard for some exciting news and seeing the stock price start turn around. Hopefully, we're going to have news coming out of Selena, and we also have a big permit plan of operations that we've applied for Selena, which would actually, once approved in March of next year, that'll be enough drill roads and pads to take this thing to an inferred resource, and even beyond that, right? We could probably take it all the way to a PEA. So we're trying to set up this the permitting scenario for Selena so that we can really go after it next year, and hopefully we have a little luck with Swift. So over the next 6 to 9 months, I hope you're going to see lots of good drill results, as well as hopefully a big deal at Carlin East and Bell Creek.
Yeah, but it seems you got your hands full, and obviously good luck for the remainder of the year and going into next year. And perhaps you can come onto the podcast mid next year and give us an update on obviously all those projects.
Yeah, hopefully I have some great news for you.
Yeah, great. Really appreciate your time. Hope the audience enjoyed that. Certainly a lot of exciting time for Ridgeline, and they've got a lot of things going on, and especially obviously Nevada. It seems definitely a jurisdiction with a lot of opportunities, and Chad is obviously there in the thick of things, trying to make things happen, and I'm obviously wishing well in his project. So appreciate you for listening. Please share this episode amongst friends, family, everyone, colleagues around the world within the mining industry. Appreciate your continued support. So until next time, happy mining.